Hello. Right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name's Nicole, and welcome back to our English class. We are continuing with Conversational English series. We are on our last topic for this series, which is our focus for today is on pronouncing questions and directions. So I hope you are all doing well so far. You had a great weekend. I have a great weekend, and I also hope that you had a great weekend and that you are ready to dive into our topic for today, which is on again pronouncing questions and directions. Now, we have previously covered the pronunciation of casual phrases, small talk, socializing vocabulary, as well as how to express opinions clearly. Now, we are going to work in another essential aspect of conversational English or spoken English, which is how to pronounce questions and directions in a way that is clear and easy for others to understand you. Now, asking questions, it correctly involves not just the right words, but also the appropriate intonation, the rise and fall of your voice, can really completely change the meaning of a sentence when you are asking something. So, this is similar with giving directions, which clearly requires specific vocabulary and a tone that guides the listener effectively. Today, we'll be looking at some uh, common terms or phrases where we do pronouncing questions and directions. So, pay close attention to the intonation patterns that signal a question. For giving directions, we'll focus on key vocabulary and how to pronounce them with clarity so that your instructions are easy to follow. Just like in our previous sessions, please feel free to ask any questions you have in the chat as we go along. Your participation is highly encouraged. So, are you ready? Are you all ready to learn how to pronounce questions and directions clearly and properly in English? If you are, please type ready in the chat. We have a chat bot on our stream. You can make use of that. All right, excellent. I see I don't know, but hopefully later on there will be responses coming in. But yeah, let's get started immediately. All right. Everyone, let's take a look at what we will be focusing on today regarding pronouncing questions and directions. As you can see on the screen, we are going to cover question words. We'll review the common question words in English, the who, what, where, when, why, how, and many, many more. And we focus on their correct pronunciation. We are going to focus also on asking for clarifications where we should know how to ask for more detail or to ensure that you are understood correctly, which is of course very crucial. We will look also at phrases for seeking, clarification and their pronunciation. We'll also look at basic direction words. No, we will cover fundamental vocabulary used when giving directions, such as left, right, straight, those things, those words, those vocabulary and their clear pronunciation. We will also look at location or position. These are words that describe where something is located, like near, far, behind, next to, all those things, though, which are, essential for understanding and giving directions. And lastly, we will give detailed directions. And finally, we will put it all together and practice giving more complex directions. We pay attention to the flow, to the intonation, and overall clarity of pronunciation. Now, these five areas we will provide you with strict, not totally strict, but a solid foundation for both asking for information and guiding others effectively in English. So we will focus again on clear articulation and the natural rhythm for conversational English. All right, let's start with question words, starting with who. Very familiar. I think all questions here that will be included are all familiar to you already, but we will talk about them deeper so that we can understand and we can use them much naturally and much effectively. All right, first we have again who, very easy. Who, who. So this word is used to inquire about a specific person. Who. So it could be a person, a group, or people. So the pronunciation tip here, you should emphasize the clear H sound at the beginning. So who, that's the H sound, right? Like you are blowing out air. So and then you add oo sound, oo, and then you blend them naturally. You link those words or those sounds naturally. Who, 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 who. So that is how we say who. Very easy. There should be clear H sound again at the beginning. You followed it by oo sound. Who. All right. Like the O in food. Who. All right. So it is important to make that H sound really distinct. So that is again who. Who. One more time. Who. Okay. So, for example, here we can say when you want to know the identity of someone, as simple as that, you would ask, who is that person? Or who is that person standing over there? So, as simple as that. You should notice that there should be rising intonation at the end of the question because it's a question. And usually, when we ask, when we create, or when we construct a question statement, um there should be rising intonation, especially at the end part. So it would be, who is that? Who is that? Or who is that person standing over there? Something like that. All right, next is what. What? What? So this question word is used to ask about a thing. It could be an object, it could be an action, or even an idea. So those are things. Now, the pronunciation tip here, it should involve a short O sound. No, not O, but like, yeah, oh, something like that. Yes. Short sound, as in hot, hot, and clear T sound at the end, like t. It should be clear at the end. So be careful not to pronounce it like what, like WATT, unit of power. Be careful of that. Or so we should say it as what, what, what. There's a short sound and then end. It should end with a clear T. What? All right. For example, what is your name? Or what is your favorite color? What is your hobby? That's all. So again, here the intonation typically rises at the end because this is a question statement. Next, we have here where. Where. So this word, it asks about a place or a location. Where. So the pronunciation tip here, it says it rhymes with hair. Where. Hair. Where. Hair. All right. So yeah, it kind of rhymes with hair. The word where, it kind of rhymes with hair. Where. Hair. All right. So based no noticed on how I say it, the pronunciation, it involves a short sound, as in pen, where, pen, eh, eh, where, and it clears with a it ends with a um clear letter R sound. So it's very rhotic. We say where. All right. For example, here we have where is the station? Where is the station? Again, remember the rising intonation at the end part of the sentence. So your intonation typically rises at the end. Where? Where? Where is the station? Where is the station? All right. Following that is when. When. This question word is used to about time, which is a specific point in time, could be a day, a duration, or just a specific time of something, of a timeline. So that is what when we try to ask for a time, we use the word when. We use the question when. We use the WH question when. When. So the pronunciation here, it involves short A sound and then like bed, when, bed, when, bed. So it ends with a clear N sound. So you combine them together, we'll get when. Be sure that the letter N here will be emphasized or will be clearly pronounced. When. When. Say, for example, here, when does it start? Or we can be more specific, when does the movie start? Something like that. Don't forget the rising intonation again. Okay, finally, we have why. Why? So when we try to ask for a reason or maybe an explanation, we try to use the WH question, why? So here the pronunciation tip is it sounds like why. So both terms, it uses a diphthong sound, right? I. So why. So those are so that I there, that is a diphthong sound. Again, what's a diphthong? A diphthong is when a vowel sound smoothly glides with another vowel sound. So vowel plus vowel sound, we get diphthong. Just like in the IPA transcription of Y, that one there, WAI, that right, it looks like WAI. So that A and I there, that's the diphthong sound. All right. Okay. We're clear with that. So here, an example is why are you learning this? Like why are you learning English? So that's an example of the WHY question. So why are you learning English? I'm trying to ask you for a reason and explanation as to why are you learning English. And remember, intonation rises at the end. That's just, that is applicable to every question. So yeah, here in summary, who asks about a person, there's a clear H sound there. What, it asks about a thing. Where asks about a place. When asks about a time. Why asks for a reason. And remember to use a rising intonation at the end of these questions in spoken English. So who, what, where, when, why. All right. And with that, let's have a practice drill. It's time to practice. Very easy. There is, I have given a situation, a short situation, and you identify what kind of WH question are we going to use here based from the first set of WH questions that we have discussed. So, yes, let's start immediately with the first situation. When you see someone you don't recognize, how do you ask the question? How do you construct the question? What WH question or word would you use? You will use, what are you gonna use? Let us see for a moment. We're gonna use, who is that? Again, we're gonna use who is that. When you want to see, when you see someone you don't recognize, of course, you're gonna ask, who is that? Who is that person? Right? Next, you want to know about someone's interest. Someone's interest. So when we say interest, it's a thing. So when we see a thing, what kind of question are we gonna use? What kind of word are we gonna use? What? So when we talk about a thing, we're gonna use what? What is your hobby? Next, you need to find the restroom. You need to find the restroom. So you need to find the location, the position of the restroom. How are you gonna ask it? You'll use where? You'll ask, where's the toilet? Notice, remember, there's always rising intonation at the end because it's a question. Where is the toilet? And then here, you need to know when a lesson begins. Oh no. Oh no, I think it gives away. Um, yeah, let's just, reveal it. And I know that you already know about this. I'm confident that you have an idea. All right, so yeah, when does the class start? Not yet. In the question or in the situation, it gives away. But yes, when does the class start? You try to ask for a specific time. And lastly, you want to know the reason for studying. Reason, explanation. How are you going to ask it? Why are you learning English? Again, why are you learning English? All right. Very good. Excellent, everyone. Let's immediately proceed with the next set of question words. And that is with the first one is how. Another question word is how. So this question word is all about the method, the manner, the way, the condition of something. So when you ask how, you're looking for an explanation of a process, a description of someone's well-being, or the state in which something exists. That's basically how. So it can also be used to inquire about a degree or extent, as in how far or how much. So you can think of it as seeking the specifics of how an action is performed or how a situation unfolds. So pronunciation tip here is that it just rhyme with cow. How cow. They just had they just both have different beginning sounds. How cow. So they're very similar, just the beginning of the word. How cow. All right. So for example here, how are you today? How are you today? So it's more in manner, method, condition, way of something. All those things are under how. All right. Next we have which. 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 So here, which is your go-to when there's a choice. Choice to be made or when you want to identify one item from a limited set, for example. So it implies a more of like a selection process. Yeah, unlike the word what or the question what, which can be very broad. Remember, what is for things. right? So which here it narrows down the possibility. So you use it when the options are either explicitly stated or implied by the context. So it helps to distinguish one specific item or option from others with a defined group. So which is for choices. Now here, pronunciation tip, we think of wit, 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 and then you add a soft ch sound, ch sound, sound at the end. So it would sound like witch, witch. So wit plus ch, wit, wit plus ch, witch. So link those sounds together and say it naturally, witch. Again, witch. All right. So say for example here, which one do you want? So you are given a choice, right? Okay. Next, whose, whose. Again, whose. Now this question word it directly points to ownership or possession. So when you ask whose, you want to know who something belongs to. It seeks to establish a connection between an object or idea and the person or entity that owns it. So ownership. It's kind of like a straightforward way to inquire about the possessor of something, the owner of something. Now, pronunciation tip here is that it sounds exactly like the word. That's not a pronunciation tip, but yeah, it sounds like whose. So pronunciation tip, the last sound of the word is buzzing. It's vibrated. It's buzzing. So a sound that involves buzzing letter is the letter Z sound, right? So you can also see it in the IPA transcription where the last part is Z. Basically, we vibrate the last sound. So instead of whose, we say whose, whose. You can feel the vibrations in your throat, and then when it vibrated, we call it as voiced sound. Whose, whose. All right. Okay. Next, finally, whom. Whom. Very easy. Whom. So here, while less frequently used in everyday English, we usually does not use whom. But yeah, whom is, the objective case of who. We're familiar with who, right? So this means it's used when the person you are asking about is the object of a verb or a preposition. So you can think of it as the receiver of an action, although who is often used in its place, especially in informal settings. We usually say who no matter what the type of case, no matter how it can be an objective case of who, we usually just, in an informal setting, we can usually just take it as who, even though it should be whom. But yeah, um, there's still some cases, there's still some settings where whom is still considered grammatically correct, because it should be whom, because that's grammatically correct in more formal writing or formal speeches. So we usually use this in a formal setting. So yeah, I just included this one because it should be, yeah, it's done in a more formal setting, but we should not totally discard the idea of whom. It should be still something that we are familiar with, we are knowledgeable about. All right, here, pronunciation tip, you say who, plus letter M sound or hmm, who, hmm, who, You link those sounds naturally, you get whom, whom, whom. For example, here, whom did you see? Whom did you see? Usually in an informal setting, we just say, who did you see, right? Because we can take it. We are really not that strict with grammar in an informal setting. In a conversational English or in a spoken English, we are usually not that strict with grammar. So here, whom did you see? All right. To check your to check if you're still following with me, Let's have another practice drill. All right. Same process, same pattern. Let's have the first one. You want to know someone's well being. What kind of word are you going to use? WH question. How? Ano? Yeah. How? How are you today? So you know you want to know someone's well-being, you'll say how. It's the manner, it's the condition of something. How are you today? Now there are options and you need to know one. So choices, what are those? What do you use when you have choices? You say which. Which one do you want? All right, next. You find an item and want to identify the owner. So you want to know the owner, no? The possessor. So it's more on ownership, it's more on possession. So you say, whose book is this? Again, whose book is this? Whose. So remember whose? There's a buzzing sound at the end. Whose book is this? Now you want to know the receiver of an action. Receiver, the object, the one that we usually say in a formal setting. Whom? Whom did you see? Again, whom did you see? All right, moving on to another set of um words. Yeah, we are already on the next part. Okay, that's good. We are already on the next part or area of directions and what do you call that? Pronouncing questions and directions, which is on asking for clarification. All right, these are phrases. Earlier we just you included words, WH questions, WH word. So here we'll have phrases already. Let's start with, excuse me, could you repeat that? Excuse me, could you repeat that? So this basically just mean, can you say that again? So this polite phrase is used when you need someone to say something again because you didn't hear or understand it the first time what they are saying. So you want to say or you want to ask them politely to say it again. So it's more of like beg your pardon, something like that. You can say, to be more polite, you can say, excuse me, could you repeat that? Now, to pronounce it effectively, you say, you follow the IPA transcription. Excuse me, could you repeat that? Excuse me, could you repeat that? You remember to stress the second syllable of excuse. So, excuse, excuse me, could you repeat that? So the second syllable repeat also also will be stressed. So, excuse me, could you repeat that? So, um, that's how you say it. So, excuse me, could you repeat that? More natural. When we say it more naturally, we say, excuse me, could you repeat that? Basically, the stress is on repeat, the second syllable of repeat, and the second syllable also in excuse. Excuse me, could you repeat that? All right. That means again, say again. Next, sorry, I didn't understand. Could you say that again? Sorry, I didn't understand. Could you say that again? So you use this when you want to express that you didn't comprehend what was, said, and you would like to the speaker to say it once more. So just like say again. Another way to ask someone politely to say something again, because you didn't just get it. Sorry, I didn't understand. Could you say that again? All right. Pay attention to the stress of the first syllable of sorry. So sorry. And then um there's also wait. Yeah, first syllable of sorry. So sorry, I didn't understand. Could you say that again? Now, in informal setting, we usually try to link words. There's connected speeches where some where words, especially side by side words, they tend to connect the sounds, so they're more like sounding like a one word. Say for example, here in this sentence, could you, could you. So instead of saying could you, because we try to say it more naturally. We blend it, we adapt it, and we get could you, instead of could you, instead of saying it separately. We say it more naturally, we say it more as one sound. Could you? All right. So here, sorry, I didn't understand. Could you say it again? Next, there's also could you here. So could you be more specific? Could you be more specific? So when the information you have received is too general and you need more details, this is the appropriate question. Could you be more specific? Could you be more specific? So you should emphasize the second syllable of specific. So specific. So you just say, could you be more specific? Could you be more specific? Lastly, which way? Which way? So this direct question is used when you need clarification about direction or a route. So the pronunciation is very straightforward. Which way? Which way? And then remember that which it starts with a W sound. We've already talked about this one during the first area of the topic for today. So which way? It's very easy. Let's not delve deeper in that one because we've already talked about which. All right. Time to practice. Let's see how far you've gone. Okay. Same process. Um but here let we are it's not already, a blank. You need to reply. You need to give me the whole phrases or sentences. So for the first situation, you didn't hear what someone said. What are you gonna say? You didn't hear what someone said. You'll say, "Excuse me, could you repeat that? Excuse me, could you repeat that?" Next, you didn't comprehend what was said and needed to repeat it. So you try to ask for someone to, you know, say it again, just like the first one. But here you want to say them, you want the other person, the speaker, to say it again because you didn't understand it. You cannot, you weren't able to comprehend it. So you'll say, "Sorry, I didn't understand. Could you say that again?" All right, next, you need a more detailed information. Detailed. You want to ask for more details. You will say, "Could you be more specific? Could you be more specific?" You need to know the direction to go. So you need to know the direction to go. What are you going to say? Which way? Again, which way? All right. Let's immediately move on with another set of phrases for still asking for clarification. Starting with, how far is it? How far is. All right, notice there's a buzzing sound there. How far is it? So here, this seemingly simple question about, distance, it can carry different implications depending on the context. So if someone mentions a location and then asks, how far is it? It seeks practical information for potential travel or understanding the spatial relationship. Now, the pronunciation, it emphasizes on the long sound, as in far. You draw out the vowel sound. So the linking of far and far is a common feature for connected speeches, right? I mentioned about connected speeches here that in conversational English, in an informal setting, we usually do connected speeches. So you make the phrase flow more smoothly here. That's why we do connected speeches in conversational English. So how far is it? How far is it? So it's connected. The sounds of different words are connected to each other. Now, the final it is very quick and it is unstressed. You consider the tone of voice as well. A casual tone, it simply seeks information, while a more hesitant tone might, imply concern about the distance. How far is it? How far is it? Next, what do you mean? What do you mean? So, this direct question probes for the speaker's intended meaning. So, especially when their statement is kind of like not clear, it's ambiguous, it's surprising even. So you want to, you want the other person to explain. Now, the emphasis on mean in the pronunciation, it signals a genuine need for explanation. So here, the initial what, the WH word question, what, it can vary slightly in vowel sound depending on accent. So this, but the core sound here should be oh. We've already mentioned that earlier, right? What, what. Now in rapid speech, which is the pacing for conversational English or informal settings, do you? It often contracts to do, do, do you, or do. But the full form is do you. It's enunciated as separate words. But yes, here, since it's a conversational English and we try to link sounds usually together because it's a rapid speech, so we can say it as like this. What do you mean? What do you mean? Or what do you mean? What do you mean? So when you try to clearly seek for clarification. But yeah, be mindful of your tone. While direct, it should aim for understanding, not confrontation. You should not sound offensive. You should not come off as offensive to the other person. So what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, next, could you explain? Could you explain that? Could you explain that? So this is a polite and direct request for an explanation. You need explanation, you ask this. So it's very useful when you have heard something but you totally haven't grasped the underlying reasons or details. So here you say, could you explain that? You need explanation. Could you explain that? The stress on the second syllable of explain, it highlights the action that you're requesting. Could you explain that? So could you explain that? Again, when we try to ask question, of course, the rising intonation at the end should be um should be a typical characteristic, should be seen, right? So could you explain that? All right. Lastly, I'm sorry I'm not following. I'm sorry I'm not following. The statement, it serves as a gentle way to indicate that you are at lost or confused and you need the speaker to kind of like backtrack or clarify their points. I'm sorry, I'm not following. So you start with I'm sorry, which kind of softens the admission of not understanding and it avoids placing blame on the speaker. And then the stress on sorry also and following, it emphasizes your current state of confusion. So yeah, this phrase, it totally just encourages the speaker to adjust their communication to ensure that you can understand in a way that is, in a way that they might need to explain it to you clearly. So you say it in a more polite way. I'm sorry, I'm not following. All right. I think that's all clear. Those are, I think, for asking for clarification. Let's immediately move on to another area of directions and or questions and directions, which is on basic direction words. Again, basic direction words. Starting with, I think it's more on phrases, but yeah, let's just say phrases. So let's start with go straight. Very easy. Go straight. So this instruction, it means to continue. It means to continue moving forward without turning or changing directions. So go straight, you move forward. It implies following the current path or the road directly ahead. So in terms of pronunciation, um, go, it's very easy. Go is pronounced just like that with a diphthong O. That's a diphthong O. So it starts with a sound that is similar to the boat. Go, boat, go, boat. And you kind of like end it with a slight ooh sound. Now here, go straight. So straight is a bit more complex. It begins with an S sound, of course. And then you followed it with consonant cluster TR. Tr, tr, tr. I think it sounds like that. Yeah. And then you give a long vowel sound as in late. So straight, straight. So you pronounce the final T clearly. Straight. So when giving directions, this phrase is often used to emphasize continuing about the current path before any turns or changes are needed. Basically, move forward, go straight. Say, for example, in a sentence, please go straight down this road until you see the park. Please go straight down this road until you see the park. Please move forward, basically. All right, next, turn left. Again, turn left. So this instruction, it indicates a change in direction of 90 degrees to the left. So it requires, the person to pivot or steer in that direction. You move to the left. That's just as simple as we take it. You move to the left. Turn left. Now, in terms of pronunciation, turn. Oh, it's very easy. You will start with letter T sound, and then it sounds like you're saying the word, or I mean the letter R, but it's more of like sound. Instead of R, you say er, er. And then of course you end it with letter N sound. Turn. You combine those sounds, those three distinct sounds, we'll get turn, turn. All right. Again, turn. Left is very easy. It's a straightforward pronunciation with, a short E like bed, left, bed. So you just, we know the pronunciations of letter F and T, right? So you just say it as it is. Left, left. So when giving directions, this is usually followed by a landmark or kind of like a street name to kind of indicate where the turn should occur. Like turn left at the corner. For example, here in the sentence, at the next intersection, turn left, or turn left at the next intersection. So, yeah, that's the second one. And of course, there's a, corresponding opposite to this, which is turn right. Similar to turn left, this instruction, it indicates a change in direction of 90 degrees, but to the right. So the pronunciation, same as turn left, you know how to say turn, and then right, that's just, the right. We will focus with right because we've already discussed about turn. So the right is pronounced with a diphthong that starts with I. And then, yeah, let's just see. Wait for a minute. Yeah, this one, AI. That's a diphthong, right? We've already talked about. We've mentioned about that earlier. AI is a diphthong sound. Again, diphthong is a vowel sound that glides smoothly with another vowel sound. So vowel plus vowel, that's diphthong. Turn right. So right, there's a diphthong I here. So it sounds the same with right. Writing. WRITE. Right. It sounds the same. Right. Again, in directions, this is often accompanied by a location or street name, like turn right after the traffic light, turn right after this intersection. So here, example sentence, after the traffic light, turn right into Main Street. After the traffic light, turn right into the main street. Lastly, go past. Go past. This instruction means to continue moving beyond a specific landmark or point of reference. You move beyond. It implies that the landmark should be on one side or the other as you proceed farther. So the pronunciation here, go, there is a diphthong sound there. O, that's a diphthong sound. Go, go, like toe, go. So those things. So go. You naturally relaxed your jaw here. Go, go. All right. And then past. It has a short sound like in cut, past. Cut, cut, past, past. So it followed by an S and T sound. We are, I think, well, I believe you're familiar with those sounds. S and t, pa, pa, past, past. All right. So when giving directions, this helps, orient someone by indicating that they need to continue moving until they are beyond a certain point before looking for the next instruction or landmark. For example, in a sentence, you'll see the library if you go past the office. You'll see the library if you go past the office. All right, that is past. Okay, let's have a short practice drill. Very easy. There's a situation, and then you will just say the possible responses correctly, how they should be enunciated. So someone asks how to get to the park. It is straight ahead. What do you say? You want to move forward. You say, go straight. Again, go straight. Someone asks what to do at the next intersection to go to the market. Left side. You say, turn left. How about for the right? You say, turn right. Now, lastly, someone asks what to do after passing the school to find the library. You say, go past. Or if you want a full sentence, go past the school. All right. Continuing with basic direction words, we have go along. Go along. So go along this phrase, you just mean to follow a path, you follow a road or follow a way. So basically following. It implies continuing in the same general direction. And in terms of pronunciation, go, we know how to pronounce go, right? We've talked about it earlier already. And then along, and then along. Basically, there's where is he? Uh, along. Here it sounds like UH. And then long. There's a short O sound there. Long. And then the NG sound or ng sound. It's a nasal sound. Mm, Go along. Go l. Mm. Go So you basically just say it l, u, So those are the four distinct sounds. Yeah, four distinct sounds of along. L, u, l, u, So you connect those, you combine those four distinct sounds of the word along, and you say it more naturally. We get along, go along. All right. Again, this instruction, it often appears when a path or route is already established, and you just need to be followed for some distance. Go along. Say, for example, here, go along the path until you reach the river. Go along the path until you reach the river. Next, go down. Down. We'll focus on down because we're familiar with go. Now, down here, there's a diphthong sound. Ow. Ow. That's the diphthong sound inside the down. So here, let's have d. That's the first sound. D, like letter D sound, and then the diphthong ow, and then letter N sound. You combine those three distinct sounds, d, ow, d, ow, d, ow, So you combine those three distinct sounds, you say it naturally, you will get down, down, again, down. So that's down. So here, again, it's when we try to instruct this, use this as an instruction, go down, we usually refer to situations where there is a descending stairs, a hill, or you move to lower floors. So you move lower, down, go down. Say, for example, in a sentence, you need to go down the stairs to the basement. Okay. An opposite of which is go up, up. So we know go and then up, very easy, up, up, up. Go up as in up, cup as in cup, but no sound there. There's no letter, letter C, but yeah, letter K sound there. Cup, up. You remove the K sound and then you get up. Go up. So this is move higher. Earlier, when we try to go down, we move lower. When we try to go up, we move higher. So it's more of involving ascending stairs, hills, or moving to upper floors. Say, for example, please go up to the hill to get a better view. Please go up to the hill to get a better view. All right, lastly, take this road or take this street. So this phrase, it directs someone to use a specific road or a street. So the pronunciation here, it starts with take. There's a diphthong still there. A, t, a, t, a, k. Those three distinct sounds, you combine those three and say it naturally, you get a, k, take, take. All right, like cake, but take. Okay. Take this. So this, there's the version of th sound we used here is the voiced one, where your throat vibrates. So th, you use that. This. So road, road. So it has a long O sound here, which is similar to the road itself. Road, road. In street, it's, there's a consonant cluster here, str, You combine those sounds of those three, you get and then e, short e here, short e, and then lastly, you end with a t sound. So e, t, e, t. You combine those three distinct sounds, and you get street. So take this road or take this street. So very crucial for getting someone into a particular, thoroughfare they need to follow. Say for example, take this road and you'll find the museum on your left. Take this road and you'll find the museum on your left. All right. Let's have the next area of pronunciation and direction, which is on location or position. I think this is the second to the last one. But yeah, we're already moving closer. So I hope your mind, your presence is still here. I hope that because we're almost there. We'll almost attend everyone. Don't worry. All right. Let's start with across from. So this is a prepositional phrase which indicates that something is situated on the opposite side of a street, of a space, or other dividing line from something else. So it's opposite, across, opposite. Now the pronunciation tip here is that in terms of pronunciation, before that we'll just say there's a schwa sound there. That upside down E in the IPA, that's a schwa sound. So, it's like UH, there's a neutral sound at the beginning. You followed by stress on cross, which has a short O sound as in hot, and there's also an S sound, of course, at the end. Across, so the emphasis on the word across, the syllable emphasis is that on cross. So, across. All right. There's yeah, across. That's basically it. Across. For from, there's a consonant cluster fr, fr, and then and then Three distinct sounds. You combine those three naturally, you get from, from, from. So here, that's how you say it. Across from. Sample sentence. The bank is across from the library. The bank is across from the library. Okay. We have the second one is next to. Next to. Again, next to. So this prepositional phrase, it means that something is located immediately beside something else. So it's beside something else. It's next to something else. All right. So the pronunciation, it begins with next. So we separate the sounds. We have first n, n, eh, and then s. So there's five distinct sounds here. N, e, k, s, t. We try to combine those five distinct sounds. We say it naturally. We get next, next. Faster, next. And then two is very, very easy. The t and o sound. Two. You combine those two sounds. So again, this phrase indicates urgency. It's beside something else, next to. Say, for example, in a sentence, the coffee shop is next to the bookstore. The coffee shop is next to the bookstore. All right, that's basically it. Next is behind, one word. So this preposition, it indicates that something is at the back of something else. Behind. So the pronunciation starts with the letter B sound. Behind, which has a short e sound if you try to be to focus on be sound. So behind. So the next syllable hind, there's a diphthong there, I, and then you stress on this one. You stress on the second syllable hind. So it kind of like rhymes with mind. Hind, mind. So behind. So for example, in a sentence, the children were hiding behind the tree. Behind the tree. So at the back of something else, at the back of a tree. All right. Next one is in front of. In front of. So here, this prepositional phrase, it means that something is located before or ahead of something else. in front of. So the pronunciation, it starts with in, in, front. There's a consonant cluster, a, t. There's four distinct sounds. Uh, 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 t, t. Front. You say it naturally, you link those words, you combine those distinct sounds together, and you say it naturally, you get front, front, front. And then off is basically sounds of O and F. O, off. In front, off. So this phrase again, it describes the position at the rear. And not at the rear, but it describes the position at the front. At the, how do you call it? Another term for front. At ahead of something else. You know, here, the one you're facing that's in front of. So, say for example, in a sentence, there was a long queue in front of the ticket booth. There is a long queue in front of a ticket booth. One more time, there was a long queue in front of the ticket booth. All right. Lastly, on the corner of. On the corner of this prepositional phrase, it specifies a location where two streets meet. So on the corner of. So there's pronunciation. It begins with on, o, n, o, n. So you combine those sounds on, and then the. There's very easy. There's a the version of th sound here is vibrated, so it's voiced. The, and then the stress is on the word corner, corner, which has an or sound, as in for, corner, corner, and then off. So this phrase is crucial for describing locations at intersections on the corner of. Say, for example, in a sentence, you'll find the restaurant on the corner of Elm Street and the Main Street. On the corner of, on the intersection of Elm Street and Main Street. All right. And I think, napa, there's still a second set of this area. The second set of location or position phrases. Let's immediately start with near. Very easy one. Near. This preposition, it indicates something is close by or not far away. Near. It's near to you. The pronunciation is near, which rhymes with word fear, right? Near, fear. It's relatively straightforward pronunciation with a short E sound followed by the ear sound. Ear. Ear sound. So this word describes proximity. It's near to you. Say, for example, the beach is near our hotel. The beach is near our hotel. Next, far from. Far from. So, it indicates something that is not close or is at a significant distance. Far from. Far from. So the pronunciation, it begins with far, which has a long a sound like in car, far, car. And then from, it has a short o sound as in hot, and ends with a nasal sound. So from, there's a consonant cluster at the begin at the beginning. I'm sorry for that. Far from, far from. So again, this phrase describes a lack of proximity. It's not close. It's far. Okay, next, to the left of. To the left of. This prepositional phrase specifies a position on the left side of something else. Very easy. I think the pronunciation is also very easy. We've talked about to, and then the, and then left. Of course, we've talked about that earlier, and then off. To the left of. So, for example, in a sentence, the blue house is to the left of the white one. The blue house is to the left of the white one. Next, the opposite of this is to the right of. So it specifies the position on the right side of something else. So to the right of. We're all familiar with the sounds or the pronunciation of these words of the phrase to the right of. We've talked about that earlier. To, very easy. The, there's a voice th sound. Right, there's a diphthong I there. And then off, direct pronunciation. So, for example, in a sentence, the park is to the right of the school. The park is to the right of the school. And lastly, opposite. Opposite. So it indicates that something is directly across from something else. opposite. So the pronunciation, it begins with the stress of the first syllable of that's the first, the syllable stress is on the first syllable, opposite. So there's a short O sound as in hot, opposite, and then there is a buzzing sound here. So the letter S, we say it with a buzzing sound or a voiced sound. Letter Z, opposite, opposite. So the stress again is on the first syllable. Again, this word describes a position directly facing something across an intervening space. So across or opposite. All right. Those are for location or position. Let's immediately have the last area for questions and directions, starting with these phrases. Starting with the first one, about. About. So this word is used to indicate an approximate time or distance about something. You add something, you add the time or you add the distance after the word about. So the pronunciation is and then bout. There's a diphthong ow there. B, ow, t, b, ow, t, about, about. So here again, this helps manage expectations regarding with the duration of length, a duration or length of a journey. So about. Say for example, in a sample sentence, it's about a 10-minute walk from here. It's about a 10-minute walk from here. About. Okay, following this is next to, and then you say the landmark. Next, we're familiar with next, right? So you pronounce it as what it looks like in the IPA. You have n, e, s, t, next, next. Much faster, next, next. And then two, of course, we're familiar with two. So, you know, the emphasis is on the overall sentence, would likely to be on the landmark itself, to aid on identification because we focus on the landmark here. Next to is just, a supporting phrase to the emphasis of the whole phrase, which is on the landmark. Say, for example, in a sentence, the museum is next to the old church. So the emphasis here is on the old church. The museum is next to the old church. All right. Next is past, and then you say the landmark. Now, in the context of directions, past and then landmark, it means to continue moving beyond a specific or known place. So the pronunciation, we're familiar with past, right? Because we've already talked about it earlier. So there's a short sound like cat, past, cat. So it's followed by an S and T sound. So past. All right. So here, this instruction, it helps orient someone by using a landmark as a point of reference that needs to be passed. Say, for example, go past the traffic. So lights and go past the traffic lights and turn right at the next street. Again, go past the traffic lights and turn right at the next street. So, past. Next to this is on the, and then you say it could be left or right, on the left or on the right. So this phrase, it specifies which side a location will be on as someone is moving in a particular direction. So it could be a right or it could be left, on the right or on the left. So in terms of pronunciation, it's very clear. There's when we say left, let's start with the beginning. On, you just combine the sounds of O and N. You get on, and then there's a voiced TH sound here. And then left, let's start with left. There's a clear L sound there, left. I think we're all familiar because we've already mentioned it many times. Left and as well as right. There's a, clear R sound there too. Left, right. So say for example, we'll focus on the left. The bakery will be on the left. The bakery will be on the left. Or we can say the bakery will be on the right. The bakery will be on the right. And lastly, we have between, and then you say place and another place. So for this preposition, it is used to indicate that a location is situated in the middle, in the center, in the middle of two other specified places. So what pronunciation wise, between, um there's a short e sound here in B, the first syllable. Then it is followed by stress on tween. So the stress is on the second syllable, between, which has a long E sound as in C. And then the last sound, which is a nasal sound, N. Between. Between. Again, between. All right. So, um, but the pronunciation tip here, you stress on twain, and then there's long sound, which highlights the aspects of the particular phrase. So again, this phrase, it helps to pinpoint a location relative to two other known points of reference. To better understand, let's have an example sentence. The park is between the school and the library. The park is between the school and the library. So that's an example. And I think that's the yeah. Let's have a short practice drill. It's time to practice. Um Basically, there's a scenario, and then we'll just say the phrases. You say it with me, okay? Let's start. Someone asks how long it will take to walk to the market. It's roughly 15 minutes. How do you say? How do you say it? It's about 15 minutes walk. It's about 15 minutes walk. Someone asks where the post office is. It's right beside this big supermarket. How do you say it? It's next to the supermarket. It's next to the supermarket. Someone asks where the school is. It's after you pass the church. Pass. So you say, go past the church. Go past the church. Someone asks where the bakery is. It's after, or it's on the left side of the street. You say, it's on the left. Or if it's in right, if you say it's on the right. And then lastly, someone asks where the park is. It's located between the library and the museum. You say it's in the middle. You say it's between the library and the museum. Again, it's between the library and the museum. All right. I think that's the end. Okay. All right, everyone. That brings us to the end of our session on, you know, conversational English. Key pronunciation points for conversational English. So, we've covered a lot of ground from mastering question words and then asking for clarification to confidently giving directions and, understanding locations and, yeah, giving detailed directions. So, remember, here, consistent practice is key to making these pronunciations feel natural. I've mentioned it many times that there should be consistent practicing on these lessons, on these phrases, on these words, so that you feel natural when we say it. You feel confident when you say it. Don't be afraid to listen to native speakers and you try to mimic their sounds and intonation. Just, pay attention to the stress in the words and phrases and those little tips that we've discussed, like the soft th or the short u sound or the voice th sound, those things. So you think about how you can use these phrases in your daily conversation. Maybe next time you need directions, you focus on using go past or turn left with clear pronunciation. So if you don't understand something, don't hesitate to politely ask, could you repeat that? Or could you be more specific? So, those things that we have discussed, the more you actively use these phrases, these words, the more comfortable and confident you'll become in your conversational English. So, keep practicing again, keep listening, and don't be afraid to make mistakes because that's normal. That's part of the learning process. All right. For conversational English, I think this is the end for our series on conversational English. That's the last area that we will be looking at. So far, on conversational English series, we've talked about or we've looked at pronunciation of casual phrases, small talk pronunciation, pronunciation for socializing vocabulary, expressing opinions clearly, and pronouncing questions and directions, which was talked about for today's session. So those are the five key areas that we've talked under conversational English series. I hope everything's clear to you. But yeah, if you have any more questions or want to delve deeper into any of these areas, feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask in the chat, but feel free to, yeah, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, I hope this has been helpful, and I encourage you all to put these pronunciation tips into practice, from the pronunciation of casual phrases until the last area, which is on pronouncing questions and directions. So those are the things that we will be looking at conversational English series. I hope I am much of a help to you. You've gained more knowledge about those areas in conversational English series, and that's the end for this one. For the next sessions, we will be talking about English for travel. Let's start with another series, which is on English for travel. All right, that's the end of our session for today. I hope you will be having a great night ahead. Thank you and goodbye.